Hey guys, welcome back. It has been forever, 3 or 4 years, I'm going to say, from my last YouTube video, which is insane. Please do not go back and watch my old videos. They're pretty bad, but I know everyone's gonna do it now anyway, so yeah. So it has been 3 or 4 years since my last YouTube video, which is way too long, but thank you guys so much for being patient with me and for pushing me to create my YouTube videos again. It has been so highly requested to start my YouTube channel up again, so here we are, sitting down and creating a video for you guys. Hopefully I'm a little bit better at it this time than I was last go around, but I'm gonna try my best. So today I created this makeup look for you guys here. It's kind of simple but kind of glam at the same time. You can definitely dress it up or dress it down. It's actually decently easy to do as well, so if you guys want to see how I created this look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so my hair is still wet out of the shower, so if throughout the video you find it getting more like puffy and frizzy, that is why. So I'm going to start off using the MAC Strobe Cream. I'm just going to put that all over my face to moisturize. I love this stuff for moisturizing and for a primer, so I'm just going to put that all over my skin. So I'm going to use the YSL Blurring Primer. I'm going to put that everywhere that I have pores, so on my cheeks and kind of down my T-zone area. So I kind of base my makeup routine based on if I'm doing like more skin focus, more eye focus, and I really want my skin to be like super nice and glowy, so I'm going to start with the skin today. I'm going to be using my Dior Forever foundation. This is in the shade 034. Mixing it with my Maybelline Superstay in 120, and I'm just going to spray my damp Morphe sponge and I'm gonna apply that all over the skin. You always want to dab your foundation into your skin with your beauty blender. If you are like swiping it and wiping it, it's just going to wipe away all of the foundation, and you really want to press it into the skin so it stays and sticks into your skin. For concealer, I'm using Shape Tape in the shade Light Sand, and I'm just going to put that under my eyes in a like triangle on my lid and down the sides of my nose. And this concealer does dry extremely fast, so I'm only going to put it on the one side, blend it in, and then apply it on the other side. So you will see just like how much of a difference concealer makes. Especially for somebody like me who has like really dark eyes. Yeah. To set my concealer, I'm just going to be using the RCMA No Color Powder, and I'm going to just pat that in under the eye and everywhere that we applied the concealer. What a difference. So as well as under the eyes, I'm going to add it to my cupid's bow, my chin, down the bridge of my nose, and in the center of my forehead. You never just want to highlight in one spot. You want to make sure it's evened out throughout your face. This sponge, you guys, is so good, mainly because it has like flat ends for foundation, it has the pointy end for concealer and getting in all those areas. And it does also have like a pretty sharp, so you can really get underneath too. And for like carving out your contour, it's super good. So all the angles are perfectly placed. This is the Morphe sponge. So good. And again, I'm just going to take the No Color Powder and I'm just going to be setting my eyes and everywhere else that we applied that concealer. I like doing the skin first because you can just focus on the skin and you don't have to worry about like messing anything up. So I am taking my MAC Give Me Sun with my Morphe M527 brush. This is my favorite bronzer brush, and I'm just going to put that down my neck, on my cheekbones, And it's kind of the same with eyeshadow. You always want to have a transition shade, so something a little bit more warm to really warm up the skin before you contour. You don't want to go in with like a black eyeshadow and try to blend that out, so you always want to use more than one shade. So I'm just warming up the skin right now, giving it some life, giving it some depth. Just putting it on my forehead, cheeks, temples, neck, and you can just see how it's kind of starting to come together. And the good thing with transition shades is you don't have to be too precise. You can be decently messy with it. For contour, I'm using my favorite contouring palette of all time. It is the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I'm going in the center shade here. My palette looks like crap. This is like my fourth one. I hit pan on my 3 favorite colors all the time. So I'm just taking this brush and I'm working it in the hollows of my cheeks. You always want to blend up with your contour. If you blend down, you're defeating the purpose. So you want to blend it up, blend it into your temples. And once you have barely anything on your brush, then you can start bringing it in. You don't want to bring your contour in too far. And then to just really hollow out my cheeks, I'm using the exact same brush and the really cool shade on the end here. And I'm just going to hit the hollows of my cheeks. So you really just want to hit it very, very top. And that'll just make it look a lot more hollow. For nose contour, I don't do anything crazy. I'm just taking this Morphe brush and the same center shade in that contouring palette, and I'm just going down the sides of my nose, working it into kind of my brow socket, whatever you'd say that is. You always want to round off the tip. That's all I'll do for my nose contour. I'm going to take my damp beauty blender and a little bit of that translucent powder, and I'm just going to set the sides of my nose just to sharpen it up a little bit. I don't usually let this sit for very long. I'm also going to take that under my contour here, and that just sharpens up any mistakes that you made, and it just sharpens up your contour in general. Okay, we're starting to take shape a little bit. For highlighter, I am using the Anastasia x Resi highlight. Such a nice highlight. I'm just taking my e.l.f. fan brush and I'm going to be putting that on the highest parts of my cheekbones. Such a pretty highlight. It looks a lot more gold in the pan than it does on my face, but still so pretty. So I'm just hitting that on the very tops of my cheekbones and a little bit on my cheeks, so when I smile, it kind of highlights that. I'm also taking that on my cupid's bow, my chin, above my brows. And then on top of that, I like to take my Laura Geller highlight. This is in Gilded Honey. This one's a super golden highlight. It's super intense, so I'm just putting that right on top. Then I'm going to just wipe away all of that excess powder. And I'm just going to add that highlight down the bridge of my nose and on the tip of my nose, a little bit on my cupid's bow. That's it for highlights. And then I am using my Morphe E51 brush. This is my favorite blush brush with Milani Luminoso. And I'm just putting that on my cheeks, a little bit on the apples of my cheeks, and I'm just going to work it back. Okay, now I'm going to spray my face. I'm going to soak my face pretty much with the NYX Dewy Setting Spray. This is why I like to do the skin first, because I cannot have to worry about my mascara running, any of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to spray my face with the NYX Dewy Setting Spray, and then we'll go onto the eyes. And add a little more, because why not? If you have not yet tried this out, go buy it. It'll change your life. Okay, so I have my skin finished. I put my brows on off camera because, yeah, that's a whole nother video. So I'm going to go on to the eyes now. I'm going to start off using the Huda Beauty Mauve Obsessions palette. I am going to be taking the very center shade here. It's a very like purpley mauve-y brown, I'd say. And I'm just going to work that into my crease. I'm going to be doing small windshield wiper motions, and also I'm going to be doing small circles. So I'm going to be going in and out. Once I barely have anything left on my brush, that's when I'm going to go in little circles to blend it out. I do not normally wear colors like this. Like, I usually go for very warm tones, and this is a little bit more on the purple side, I want to say. So it's a little bit different for all of us. And since I already have the skin done, I'm going to be taking that same shade on just a bullet brush, and I'm going to be working it under the eye as well, just so I can really blend the top and the bottom together. This is why sometimes I like to do the skin first, just so I can really connect the top and the bottom. Then I'll just go back in with that fluffy brush, and I'm just going to bring it all the way around. Next, I'm going to be taking this shade here from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette, and I'm just going to be putting that a little bit more precisely in the outer corner. This again is a little bit of a mauve brown, so I'm just going to focus that a lot more on the outer corner, not blend it up as high, not blend it in as much. I want to focus it on the outer corner. And then once you have that, you can go back in with the same brush that you used, no additional product, and you can just blend those two in. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to go even a shade darker, and I'm going to be adding this brown shade here from the same palette, and I'm just going to be placing that in the outer corner, even more precise than the last color. So this is the tip to blending anything, contour, eyeshadow, anything. You always want to go in with a more precise brush. Every darker color that you use, a more precise brush, more precisely. So you still want to obviously blend stuff out, but with the transition shade you can blend it out a lot more rather than with your really dark color. So I'm just going to take that first fluffy brush we used and a little bit of product, and I'm just going to blend those colors all together. So we're just going darker and darker and darker until we get the desired shade we want. We're just going to keep on adding colors, and you want to kind of stay in the same color category. You don't want to use like warm tones and mix it with cool tones. So we are kind of staying on the same color wheel, I guess you could say, more with the mauve tones, more with the cool tones, rather than like adding a random warm tone in there. So you just kind of want to add darker shades. I'm going to be taking that second shade that we used on a flat brush, and I'm just going to focus it on the bottom lash line, really work it into the lash line. Same thing as the top, you don't want to blend it in quite as much, and you want to be a little bit more precise with it. And then as we add the darker step, we're going to do the exact same thing. So once I place the product there, I'm going to go back in with a bullet brush, the first one that we used, and I'm just going to blend it out. Then once again, I'm going to be taking the darkest shade that we used, and I'm going to be focusing it really nice and tight to the lash line. I'm going to be staying on the outer corner rather than take it in very far. And then I'm going to take the bullet brush again, and I'm just going to blend all of those shades together. So you might not notice when you're looking at someone's makeup that they use like 3 or 4 shades to get to that desired color, but 9 times out of 10 they did. So just really be careful when you're blending that you're always putting a transition color and just making sure that everything's super blended out. If you need to go back in 3 or 4 times and blend it in, I usually, every color that I use, I go back in with the first brush that I used, and I'll always blend it in even more. So that's what I'm doing right now until everything is super nice and seamless. Okay, so for the lid color, I'm going to be mixing these two shimmer shades here from the Jaclyn Hill palette. So pigments are completely different. You actually want to tap them into the skin. You never want to swipe, you won't get as much pigment that way. So I am going to tap them into the skin. A trick is you can either spray your brush with Fix Plus or you can apply it with your finger. It does apply a lot more opaque if you apply it with your finger, so I'm going to do that. So now that I have like a lot of pigment on there, I'm just going to use my brush and apply in the little corners that I can't reach with my finger. And I'm tapping into the skin, I'm not swiping. So I'm just tapping into the skin and blending it in that way. So after you applied your pigment, you can go back in with one of the shades and just kind of put it right where they meet, and that'll blend in the pigment with the shadow pretty easy. So I'm just going to line my waterline now just with black liquid liner. I'm not making this crazy precise because I will be smoking it out with shadow, so I'm just making the line there. And the liner that I'm using is the NYC liquid liner. So I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'm just going to be smoking that out with a black or brown shadow. So as that's drying, I'm just going to line my waterline. This is just a MAC concealer actually, and it's just a complete skin tone color. You can use any nude liner. It just really brightens up your eyes. Okay, so to smoke out this liner, I am going to take that exact same chocolatey brown shade, and I'm just taking a super small bullet brush, and I'm just gonna go over the line. If you use a brown, it's a lot less harsh, so I like using like a dark brown for smoking out the lash line. So once the lash line is smoked out, I'm just going to curl my lashes and put mascara on. Okay, so I went with Cocoa Lashes in Queen Bee. They are super fluffy. Honestly, if you've never tried Cocoa Lashes, you need to. They're so cheap. They're like $6.99, $7.99. Such nice lashes. Queen Bees are my new favorites. I am obsessed with them. I also added some mascara to the bottoms of my eyes, and I just have a couple more steps. So I'm just going to highlight the inner corners of my eyes. This will just make them pop even more. I'm using the Anastasia and Resi highlight once again. And I'm just going to put that on the inner corners of my eyes. And I'm also going to add that under my brow bone. So for lips, I'm going to be going with something a little bit pink. I'm using the Tarte Lip Architect lipstick and lip liner in Mousse, and I'm just going to put this all over my lips as lipstick, and I have lip chap on, so. And then I'm going to add my MAC lip gloss. This is in the shade Lust. This is like my favorite new lip gloss. I was obsessed with the Fenty one, but this one may have taken its place, just for now. So you guys, that is the completed look. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you get to try this look out at home. I hope you enjoyed my first video back. I have lots of videos planned. My next 2 videos coming up should be pretty funny, so stay tuned for that. If you like me, you like this video, and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on my Instagram, and I will be creating some more content for you guys. If you have any ideas or suggestions on any videos I should film, anything you'd like to see, let me know. DM me, whatever works. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.